Hey there, I'm Ava Smith, a 40-year-old woman juggling life as the temporary manager of Ravish, a happening nightclub nestled in the heart of Manhattan, New York. You see, this club holds a special place in my heart because it was once managed by my dear mother, who poured her heart and soul into making it a vibrant spot in the city's nightlife scene. Now I'm just trying to keep her legacy alive while she's away. A year after marrying Ryan, the club I worked at had to close down. Ryan and Sarah, who were relying on my income, suddenly changed their attitude. Ryan, not knowing that I actually had an annual income of $6 million, said he didn't need a wife who couldn't earn or take care of a child. And Sarah, his daughter, said she wanted a mother she could be proud of. Next, they didn't know the real me, so it couldn't be helped. I coolly replied, "Is that so? All right then, let's say goodbye." Ryan demanded a divorce with outrageous conditions. My true nature in response to this would become known 2 months later in a magazine article. Then Ryan and Sarah started bombarding me with calls. I want to explain our brief yet superficial history. Today is the high school reunion. The purpose is to meet my first love, Ryan Wilson. I wonder how he has changed, whether I'll be disappointed or feel a spark. Ava, do you remember me? I never expected Ryan to start a conversation, and he still had that boyish smile just like before. His freshness hasn't changed at all. I suddenly got nervous. Of course I remember you, after all, you were my first love. Really? Why didn't you tell me back then? We might have dated. My face suddenly heated up. A mix of nostalgia and embarrassment enveloped me. I liked you too, Ava, but I thought a beauty like you would have been married long ago. No, I haven't, really. Maybe there's a chance for me then. I'm single too. Is that so? I thought for sure you were married. Could this be turning into something good? But don't you think meeting here today is like guidance from above? I wasn't even going to come to the reunion, but then I suddenly could. It's like it's fate. I didn't expect this kind of development. I just wanted to know how Ryan had been. I was just hoping to catch up and see how he's been. Ryan and I exchanged contact information that day and started communicating through emails and calls. It was like we were making up for lost time, quickly deepening our relationship. I'm seriously dating you, Ava, and I don't want to keep any secrets. There's something I haven't told you yet, and I think it's time I did. I couldn't guess what he was going to say and started fearing the worst. Maybe he's going to say something like, "Actually, I have a wife and kids." But then he said, "I'm divorced, and I have a 15-year-old daughter." I wasn't surprised. He's 40 after all. It seemed natural. I'm raising her myself, a single dad. It's rare for the dad to have custody. Did your ex-wife do something terrible? She found someone else and just left. I thought he hadn't changed much, but I realized he had been through a lot. That's why I'm hesitant about proposing to you. My heart skipped a beat. A proposal. Wait, there's something I need to tell you too. You haven't asked about my job, Ryan. Do you know what I do? I thought you might be a nurse or a hotel worker since you're often busy at night. Oh man, this is hard to say. I work at a nightclub. What, you, Ava? NTI. I always thought you were quiet and shy. It's surprising. So you have a bias? No, not at all. That means you probably earn quite a bit, right? Maybe even more than me. Well, maybe I do. Manage an upscale club in Manhattan, after all. Wow, you're a manager. That's impressive. I don't earn enough to visit such places. It's an unknown world to me. If we get married, Ryan, I'm not planning to quit my job. You don't have to quit. Keep working hard. The biggest concern for me is, would you marry me even though I have a daughter? It's a blessing for a 40-year-old woman like me to get married, but what if your daughter doesn't like me? Worrying about this, Ryan arranged for me to meet his daughter, Sarah. She was 15 but looked so grown up. I wouldn't have doubted if someone said she was in college. Nice to meet you. I'm Sarah. Wow, I'm so happy to meet you, Ava. You're beautiful and stylish, and everything you wear is branded. You're so classy. I'd be proud to have you as my mom. I didn't expect a 15-year-old to be so good at flattery. She wasn't as opposed to me as I had feared, and her attitude was good. I felt like we could get along. Rian, seeing I'd overcome the hurdle of his daughter, finally proposed to me. That's how my first marriage began. Wow, I can't believe I'm living in such a big and shiny house. It's like a dream. Sarah was thrilled, running around like a child in the house I put the down payment on and contracted in my name. Rayan, a postman, hadn't been able to afford a home yet. Are you sure about this? I feel bad that you're paying the mortgage. It's my home too, and I was. Particular about the interior design, I'm so happy Ava's becoming my mom. She's worlds apart from my last mom. Dad's married a great woman, but I wonder why would someone amazing like Ava marry a simple postman like my dad? That's the biggest mystery. Women around 40 often give up on marriage, but thinking about living alone for another 40 years made me feel lonely. Then I met Ryan again and thought, why not give love another try? That's all it was, really. That's amazing, Ava. You always sound so intelligent and smart. Seeing you go to work every day in a fashionable dress, you look so dignified and beautiful. I never dreamed my mom would be a high-end club manager. When Dad first told me, I thought she might be a scary person. I've never been around that kind of world and wondered if she could really like someone like my dad. After all, he's not into women or that kind of nightlife, right? Nope, just a humble postman. The fanciest I've been is to a bar, and that was ages ago. But I've heard that hostesses in the city clubs study a lot, like reading newspapers and books. You do that too, Ava. It takes a different kind of smarts, I guess. I feel so dumb in comparison, especially with exams coming up and being unsure about my future. That topic's already settled, Ryan interjected, reminding me of the recent meeting he and Sarah had with her middle school teacher. Our financial situation doesn't allow for private school tuition, no matter how many times I say it. But didn't the teacher say if I go to a public school, it'll be a low-ranked one? And that's practically a school for outcasts. I don't want to go to a school with such bad security. That's why I keep telling you need to study. But you only graduated high school. Yes, that's exactly why I don't want you to end up like me. I want you to go to college if possible. No way, I hate studying. But I do want to graduate high school at least, and I definitely don't want to go to a school for delinquents. What if I end up dropping out? Laughing off a high school dropout isn't cool. Seriously, Sarah, do you have any high school in mind? See, Ava knows what to ask. I want to get a qualification, so I'm thinking of going to a professional school to study accounting. It's a girls' school and the school building is super amazing. There it is again. What's wrong with that? Sarah's thinking about her future. I've heard getting a CFA certification is tough. It's okay. I'll pay for Sarah's tuition. Yay, that's why I love you, Ava. Thank you, Sarah exclaimed, hugging me. Teenage girls have their own unique obsessions that only a mother can understand. You're too soft on Sarah, Ryan said with a smile. After moving into our new home, we began to understand each other's daily rhythms. That's when Ryan made a suggestion. I think I should take the lead on the household chores from now on, Ava. You get home late from your night job and need to sleep until the afternoon. If you have to do laundry and cleaning after waking up, you won't make it to work on time. You've been handling it until now, even preparing dinner, but that must be tough, right? So I think it makes sense for me, who can finish work on time, to handle the chores. The idea that women should do the housework is outdated. In fact, Ava earns more than me, so it only makes sense for me to be the house husband. What do you think? Sarah was thrilled, running around like a child in the house I put the down payment on and contracted in my name. Rayan, a postman, hadn't been able to afford a home yet. "Are you sure about this? I feel bad that you're paying the mortgage." It's my home too, and I was particular about the interior design. I'm so happy Ava's becoming my mom. She's worlds apart from my last mom. Dad's married a great woman, but I wonder why would someone amazing like Ava marry a simple postman like my dad? That's the biggest mystery. Women around 40 often give up on marriage, but thinking about living alone for another 40 years made me feel lonely. Then I met Ryan again and thought, why not give love another try? That's all it was, really. That's amazing, Ava. You always sound so intelligent and smart. Seeing you go to work every day in a fashionable dress, you look so dignified and beautiful. I never dreamed my mom would be a high-end club manager. When Dad first told me, I thought she might be a scary person. I've never been around that kind of world and wondered if she could really like someone like my dad. After all, he's not into women or that kind of nightlife, right? Nope, just a humble postman. The fanciest I've been is to a bar, and that was ages ago. I enjoy seeing Sarah look pretty, but they're expensive, right? I don't know much about brands, but don't spoil her too much. It's bad if she loses her sense of money. You promised her a trip abroad before she enters her high school, right? It's fine, she's never been abroad and she wants to go to France. You're coming too, right, Ryan? Well, if everyone's going, sure. It's a reward for you too, Ryan. You do the household chores every day, allowing me to work at the club without worry. This period might have been the peak of our happiness. My unusual job and slightly higher income eventually led to turmoil in the Wilson household. Oh no, terrible Dad, you didn't buy toothpaste. This is a hustle, especially on a busy morning like this, Sarah complained to Ryan, waking me up. Sorry, just use water for now. You've been forgetting to buy things a lot lately. Laundry is piling up. There's dust in the corners of the hallway, and the meals are mostly instant or prepackaged from the store. I understood why Sarah was angry lately. Ryan had been neglecting the household chores. I try to cover as much as I can, but there are limits. I left the bedroom and went to the living room where they were arguing. Come on, Ava, you tell him too. Ryan, you're tired, right? Housework is harder than you think. Then why don't you just quit your job and become a full-time house husband? It's because you do everything half-heartedly that it's bad. I quit the post office. What? When did that happen? Did you know about this, Ava? I shook my head. This was news to me. Why should both of us work? Ava's income is tens of times more than my salary. It's demotivating. I should be the one taking care of the home. That's how couples support each other. Then all the more reason not to slack off on housework, Sarah shouted before leaving for school. You could have at least mentioned quitting your job. What? Why do I have to report everything to you? You just dress up pretty, flatter men, serve drinks, and make them pay a fortune. Easy money. And you earn tens of times more than me. It's ridiculous. Calling it easy money is a bit harsh. Nightlife work is harder than most people think. I have to send emails to clients, manage appointments, keep track of their preferences and birthdays, and sometimes even accompany them for outside parties. It's not just the time at the club, but my private time that's even harder. So if I were a club owner, would you have married me? Yes, of course. I don't have any prejudice against nightlife work. Well, that's like being in the same industry. But Ava, you may not realize it, but your sense of money is warped. Thanks to that, we can live like this. I'm working for my salary. I don't think it's excessive. See, that kind of thinking is the problem. Anyway, I've decided to use the time I used to spend on work more effectively. I shouldn't be punished for that. I raised Sarah all by myself till now. Ryan boasted about using his time effectively, but what he was really doing was gambling. He went to the casino daily and was into horse racing and other gambling. All the money for that was coming from me. And then another person appeared who was relying on my money. Wow, what a fancy house. Lucky for Ryan and Sarah to have a new wife who's rich. Lila, Ryan's ex-wife, said sarcastically. She showed up unexpectedly without any appointment. You're the manager Ava from the Ravish in New York, right? The daughter of the famous owner Hazel. That upscale club is beyond the reach of ordinary workers, so you must be doing well. I lent Ryan about $100,000. He desperately wanted a car, so I bought one for $100,000. The loan is $600 a month. He crashed the car within a week, and it's a total wreck. I'm still paying off a loan for the car that doesn't exist. Since you're Ryan's wife now, can you pay me the $100,000 and the money spent on Sarah, too? She wanted to learn piano, swimming, and Spanish, so I paid for it even though it was expensive. I ended up begging my mother to pay every month. I want that money back, too, because Sarah didn't gain anything from it. After all, you're Sarah's mother now. You should pay her. The argument was outrageous. I have no obligation or intention to pay for these past expenses. I heard that Layla left Ryan because she found another man. Even though it was Ryan's fault, she has the nerve or maybe just insensitivity to come asking for money. Well, even if you don't have to pay, could you lend me some money? So that's what this was about. When people know you have money, suddenly you get a lot of relatives. Can't you share a bit of your wealth with me? You're raising Sarah as your own now. When Sarah gets married, you'll be the one giving her away, right? Please just leave. I don't owe you a penny. I don't earn money easily. I work hard and get paid for it. If you need money, you should work for it. I made sure to maintain a firm attitude. Years in the nightlife industry haven't been for nothing. Handling clients is a skill essential for the job. Ryan has changed too. Now Layla is coming to me for money, and Sarah, whenever she has a chance, keeps saying, "Buy this, I want that." She must be under the mistaken impression that nothing is unattainable. Ava, the taxi's here. Are you okay? Sarah, and I will follow later. Ryan called out as I was rushing to get ready. My mother had passed away the previous night. The legendary Hazel, manager of the upscale club Ravish in New York, was gone. With her death, the stakeholders were in chaos. Her will stated no need for a grand funeral, just a quiet send-off with family. But people wouldn't leave us alone. Her death forced me to make a big decision. Finally free from that gloomy place. There's a lot to do when someone dies, huh? Thanks for your help, Sarah and Ryan. We somehow managed to get through the memorial party. Now I have something important to discuss with you. Both? What's up? You're so formal. I've decided to close the club I manage in New York, huh? Why? Was it losing money? That club was a precious place, filled with my mother's efforts and memories. But well stated, she didn't want it continued after her death, so it's going to close. So, will someone buy it? I think it will be sold as is, but it won't become part of my inheritance. My mother was involved in charity work and arranged for all her assets to be donated. So, what are you going to do now, Ava? Continue working in nightlife at another club? I'll refer the employees currently working with me to other clubs, but I don't think I'll continue in nightlife. Then who's going to support this household? We have a monthly mortgage on the house, and we bought it based on your income. You have to take responsibility, Ava. What about the living expenses? Sarah's tuition for private school. You have to do something. So they saw me as nothing more than an ATM. But I had lost my mother and needed to take a new step forward. Yet all they cared about was money, money, money. I'll work a regular job, Ava. Who worked up to being a manager in nightlife won't last in a daytime job with such low pay. It's hard to go back to normal life once you've tasted luxury and big money. Like a celebrity who commits a crime and then tries to return to the spotlight. Once you've lived luxuriously, it's hard to go back. That's the reality. Really? What are you saying? Now you want me to dress poorly? This is like a scam. I was nice because there was money, but I can't go back to my old life now. If you are without money, you're just a regular old lady. It was an obvious turnaround. Even if it was just for a year, they had a taste of luxury. That should be enough. I'm honestly lost about how to live from here on out. I've been deceived. I quit my job for this. How are you going to take responsibility? Sarah won't be able to go to private school. What a woman. This is real marriage fraud. I don't deserve such slander. I wasn't just playing around as the manager. I worked hard to protect the club my mother built. But I was already beginning a new chapter in my life. I had kept it quiet, but a big opportunity awaited me. We can't continue as a couple in this state. Let's get a divorce. Wait, we haven't even been married a year. Let's try to meet halfway, improve what we can, and find ways to work as a couple. What couple? You left all the housework to me. You don't even care for Sarah, do you? I mostly made her lunches because you can't wake up in the morning. If you think I enjoyed being a house husband, you're mistaken. Ryan had changed so much. It was more disappointing than scary. I was starting to understand my mother always said I had no eye for men. That's why you're single at 40, she'd say. Indeed, the boyfriends I've had in the past were all no good. But I thought Ryan was different. Maybe I did take you for granted, expecting you to do all the housework. But isn't it mutual, Ryan and Sarah? You both took it for granted that I would provide the money, right? Isn't that a bit unfair? Let's live within our means. I don't want to hear your excuses. You committed fraud, so I demand alimony and 3 years of Sarah's high school tuition as conditions for the divorce. His demands were absurd. I considered getting a lawyer, but I'm planning to leave the country soon. It might be easier to just accept the divorce quickly rather than dragging it out with a lawsuit. It's better to cut ties with money-obsessed Ryan and Sarah. I pretended to agree with their terms. 2 months have passed since then. My life has changed dramatically in just 2 months. I'm now in Dubai. Somehow Ryan found out where I was and contacted me. Ava, any plans to return to the States? His overly cheerful tone made me nauseous. I had no idea your dad was a big shot at Burt Airlines and you've succeeded him as CEO recently. After my father's retirement, I took over his company. It was something he asked me during my mother's funeral. My becoming the female CEO of Burt Airlines made headlines, and I was featured in a recent magazine article. Ryan and Sarah probably saw it and learned about it. I Googled it, you know. The average salary for an airline CEO is around $6 million. Ava, you should have told us about closing the club, but becoming an airline CEO, we wouldn't have talked about divorce. You've always been secretive, even in high school. I thought you were so mysterious. You never talked much about yourself, never showed your true face. That's what attracted me to you. I listened without really hearing, thinking how much he talks. They push me away when I have no money and come crawling back when I do. So predictable. Are you okay? Okay, if you have time to call, why don't you work? You depended on my money for back payments on various purchases, right? Without working, you'll run out of money for the casino. Or is it that you've already spent the $60,000 I gave you as alimony on gambling? I hung up unilaterally. Since that day, Ryan and Sarah started calling me daily, constant calls, all about money. They wouldn't say it directly, but hinted at needing financial help. Ava, you're in Dubai, right? Can I visit you? I finished the spring term at school. You promised me a trip to France as a reward, remember? Let's change the destination to Dubai. Ryan and Sarah were desperate. Did they really think I would happily return to the Wilson family after being called a fraudster? How convenient for them. I'm no longer your mother, just a stranger you wanted. That Sarah at least finish high school. Seriously, high-educated women are popular in clubs. You can't brag about a woman in nightlife, right? Then maybe Ryan should remarry someone more brag-worthy, I said and hung up unilaterally. I blocked their calls. I couldn't cut ties before because I still had some feelings. But now I've cut ties with Ryan and Sarah. I'm on a different stage. I decided to relocate to Dubai because work is easier there. I'm living a comfortable and leisurely life in the luxurious mansion owned by my father. And surprisingly, I'm dating a handsome local man 15 years younger than me. I'm living a life where even a 40-year-old woman like me is popular, unlike in the States. Meanwhile, Ryan, having racked up debts while chasing after my money, is now being hounded by debt collectors. Fearing capture, he's been constantly on the move, fleeing both within the country and abroad. Sarah dropped out of high school because Ryan used her tuition I gave her to pay off debts. Sarah, still only 16 years old, has gone to live with Leela. Now with Leela, that can't even afford a normal life. It must be true that money can ruin your life.